天热歌榜上关于下雨的一些歌曲哈，或者说是阴天的一些歌曲，真的是蛮多的。一起来去听到这首歌曲吧，来自于 Piggy 所演唱的《不喜欢下雨天》。我们一起来去听到这首歌曲，结束我们今天的节目，也是希望大家一起能够去共度此次我们奥克兰每一位居民所面临的这个难关哈。我们明天节目不见不散。
Cuba Street precinct transforms into another world with colour, art, music, theatre, dance, food and thousands of artists at Aotearoa's most creative and diverse arts festival. Parks, alleyways and intersections will hum with free family-friendly activities, relaxed social zones, award-winning musicians, circus and cabaret delights, sunset dance parties and more. Cuba Duper, open the portal to a world of celebration March 25th to 26th. cubaduper.co.nz.
It's too hot. I need a heat pump.
Have you heard about Panasonic heat pumps with NanoX air purification? They not only heat and cool, they also actively fight viruses, mold and odours.
How does it do that?
NanoX ions are generated from the heat pump, which seeks out and deactivates all kinds of viruses, mold and odours in the air and on surfaces.
But there's still great heat pumps, right?
Absolutely.
Panasonic Air Conditioning, the only heat pumps with NanoX. Visit nanox.co.nz for details.
Manage your people easy with MyHR. Get contracts, leave, onboarding and performance sorted. Centralise workforce data in the cloud and go paperless with employee self-service. Integrate with best-in-breed apps for payroll and ATS. Run any process from hiring to firing with an HR expert backing you. And get on-call advice whenever you need it. All-inclusive, no-lock-in contracts. Go to myhr.works for more. In Auckland on 89.4, this is News Talk ZB. Your official civil defence station, live from the News Talk ZB News Centre. This is News Talk ZB News.
It's 12 o'clock, I'm Malcolm Jordan. High-level warnings of a serious and unprecedented weather event as Cyclone Gabrielle bears down on New Zealand with its worst effects still to come. Emergency Management Ministers just held a press conference from Parliament's crisis bunker. Prime Minister Chris Hipkins remains in Auckland, where most flights are cancelled. Kieran McAnulty says a national state of emergency is not warranted at this stage.
We've got to keep in mind that there's only been 2 national states of emergency so far in our history, one being the Christchurch earthquake, the other being COVID-19.
Emergency Management Director Roger Ball's warning against complacency during any brief let-up in the wild weather.
If you find the winds dropping this evening, this does not mean that you are through the worst of the conditions. The winds will increase again and come from the opposite direction, so you need to be ready.
5 regions have declared local states of emergency: Coromandel, Auckland, Tairāwhiti, Opotiki and Northland. There are at least 30 weather alerts across the country, including red warnings for Northland, Auckland, Coromandel Peninsula and the Northern Gisborne district. People in low-lying areas close to the rivers in Whangare's CBD and Town Basin area are being told to self-evacuate before high tide at 1:56 p.m, with tidal flooding likely. People can go to the Civil Defence Centre at Mackay Stadium in Kensington. Shannon Johnstone has more.
Further heavy rain is forecast and thousands are without power. All people who don't need to evacuate are warned to stay home and off the roads, with lots of trees down and surface flooding making driving dangerous. Locals on council supply are asked to conserve water.
It could be up to a week before power is fully restored in the far north, as at 8 a.m, 10,500 households were without power, as well as 18,500 customers in Whangarei and Kaipara. Top Energy says hazardous conditions are impeding repairs to extensive damage. In the north, State Highway 1 is closed over the Brynderwyns due to slips, and State Highway 16 is closed between Kaupapa and Wellsford due to fallen trees. Parts of State Highway 25 are closed on the Coromandel Peninsula. In Auckland, the harbour bridge is open with speed restrictions but could close at any time. Buses are running, ferries are disrupted, and trains aren't running, with most flights cancelled. Fire and Emergency says it received 177 calls from across the upper and central North Island relating to wind and flood damage between 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. St John's Andy Everest says extra ambulance staff are stationed in Northland, Auckland and Coromandel Peninsula. He says they also have extra vehicles north of the harbour bridge.
Additional four-wheel drive rapid response vehicle in Rodney and additional four-wheel drive on the North Shore.
Meanwhile, the unstable conditions are set to bring thunderstorms and downpours to the south. A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for Westland, Central Otago, Southern Lakes, Clutha, Southland, Fiordland between 3 and 9 p.m. Met Service meteorologist Peter Little says it's hard to pinpoint exact locations, but North Canterbury is in the firing line.
Cyclone Gabrielle does move southwards. It is going to bring some rain into those northern parts of the district, so there is a heavy rain watch in force now for the northern part of Canterbury.
Sports, good afternoon. The contest between the Super Bowl coaches is a feature of this afternoon's NFL showpiece in Phoenix, Arizona. Philadelphia Eagles' Nick Sirianni is coaching at his first Super Bowl in 2 seasons as coach, compared to Kansas City Chiefs counterpart Andy Reid's 4th in 24 seasons. Reid also coached the Eagles for 14 years, including at the 2000